especially this part in case you want to check the recording. So everybody's going to get one of these to take home. They're outside. And we're going to work with the senses tonight because we're also working, we've been working this month with pratyahara, which is sense withdrawal. And what you have in this little kit is a little piece of paper, actually a very long piece of paper, like a ticker tape. And you have a little bag of sand. And you're going to take out your ticker tape and you're going to write your intention on it. Some of them are very long and some of them are not. So hopefully you got one that matches your intention. You're going to write your intention, and then you're going to take it and wrap it around the base of the candle. Okay, so let's say you don't need that extra. And then you're going to take this bag of sand and you're going to pour it into your cup. This is your earth element. So as you're pouring your sand in, you can think about what earth element means to you. And I'll be talking about it tonight. So you have, if you don't know much about earth element, you'll get that information. Then after you write your intention, you wrap it around the candle, and then you're going to put the candle into the sand. And then you're going to take some water. It could be any water. It could just be tap water. It could be holy water. It could be water that you sprinkle something into if you want, like essential oil or something. And then you're going to pour the water till it's above the height of the paper. There's room over, there's 2 spots over here too. And then you're going to light an incense and put it wherever you want, and you're going to light the candle. And the candle, this candle will burn for about 30 minutes. You don't have to sit with it the whole time. We are going to do a practice with a candle, I think, and called Tratak, and you might choose then to do that practice with this candle. And then you have the incense. The incense is going to, well, obviously this is for the fire element, the water is for the water element, and this is for the air element. And hopefully, theoretically, what's going to happen is this wax is going to burn over the water and it's going to seal it. So you're going to have your intention sealed in all of the senses. If you prefer to burn it, you'll pick the paper up a little bit higher, right? So the candle's going to come down and burn it. I will say it doesn't smell great, but you have the incense. That just happened to work out that way. And if you really want to put the incense in with that, you can. And so what we're going to watch is, when you're going to do this at home, is that you're transforming your intention through the elements. Okay. And then what you're going to have is a molten mass of sand, water, wax, and smell. And that you can do whatever you'd like with it. If you feel like you really want to use this glass again, pour hot water into it, let it sit for a while, and then you can pull it out. Okay. So please take one before you go. I will be talking about it as we go through the class. So I didn't expect you to memorize all that. It's also on recording, which you will have if you want. But that's the idea of this, the ritual that we're going to do. Some of you know that in previous years, we've lit a candle here, but I thought it would be nice for you to take this home and to incorporate all of the elements with it. Okay. Okay. All right. I think we're still missing 2 people. Do we still have 2 empty mats or 1 empty mat?
3 empty.
3. Oh, is everybody here? If you're here, okay, then don't lock the door. Denise, maybe close the curtains a little bit and I'll turn the lights down. So one thing that I did want to do, but I was so busy filling bags of sand that that I didn't get a chance to do it, is to write out the mantra that we're going to use tonight. And some of you know it, and we are going to do it. I think we'll do it call and response. And if you don't know it and you don't care to join in, then just skip it, hang out, and just listen. Okay. Denise, is that okay for you?
Yeah.
You have your own mic. Okay. Okay. So let's begin. Okay, so sit up tall, softly closing your eyes. We just had a very powerful ceremony in here before you came, so there's probably some residual good energy flowing. So you are the beneficiaries of that cacao ceremony led by Isa. So I'd like you to take in the area around you, the scents, the sounds, the texture of the air, the temperature. Feel as though you are a pillar in the middle of the most beautiful place in the world. You are a pillar in the middle of that, and all you need to do is take in what's around you. And you can do that with all of the senses. Of course, we're always taking in through the nostrils. We're always breathing in. So this is a great way for you to connect with what's around you. Inhale, take the breath in, and feel what is outside of you coming into you. This is air element. You're breathing in air. Air is associated with touch. So I'd like you to feel how this breath is touching you. The rim of the nostrils, coming up the left and right nostril. This is very tangible. We can feel this. You might even feel just a hint of a breeze. Or certainly if you were outside today, you felt the breeze. One of the interesting things about air is that we only notice it when the wind is blowing, when it's moving. We don't usually notice air when it's still. And we don't usually notice touch when it's still, right? Meaning if your hands are laying on your lap right now, you probably don't even notice they're there anymore. But go ahead and feel into them. Feel how your hands touch your body. Feel how your seat touches the earth. And feel again how the breath is touching the rim of the nostrils and the inner nostrils. On a subtler level, feel how the right and left nostril, the current coming in there, touches each other when it comes to the third eye center. Draw a breath in and feel these two streams of air touching at the third eye center and almost like creating a little bit of an explosion, not in a bad way, but an explosion of light. Then we go to something even more subtle, the light. How does the light touch you? And just see, feel, or imagine you have this brilliant light in the center of your forehead. Like somebody, you were in a dark room and somebody turned on the light. What does light give us? The element of fire. It gives us discernment. It gives us the ability to see clearly, to understand our choices, our options, to understand what is right action and what is not right action. And it gives us the ability to see truth from untruth, fear from not fear, or at least to see what we're afraid of. And when we do see it absolutely clearly in this light of awareness, oftentimes we will no longer hold that fear. Just like the monsters in your closet, as soon as you shine a flashlight into them, you realize there are no monsters. So the fire element gives us discernment. And from that discernment arises what is called tejas. It's a light of enlightenment, light of high consciousness. What also arises is a non-attachment. We can let things go. We can go empty. So the air is touching, confirming, waking us up, like when somebody taps you to get your attention, leads to this light of fire. And then from this light at the third eye center, feel a cascade of warm nectar. Actually, I'm going to take that back. Cooling nectar, like liquid moonlight. And let that moonlight fall down into your senses, your eyes, your ears, your nose, your mouth, your tongue, your throat. And it's said that this nectar, so this is the water element, cools the heat of samsara, the heat of suffering, the heat of the repetitive things that we do that cause us to suffer. So that heat of frustration, of anger, that heat of feeling abandoned or left out or not seen, all of these are heating. Feel this nectar like liquid moonlight cooling it wherever it may reside in your body. And see it not only as a cooling and nurturing substance, but it also is like liquid light. So it's enlightening as it goes. And then notice how that nectar travels down the body, the physical body, the energetic body, and starts to make itself known right in the seat, grounding you. Pouring down through sit bones, through legs, through thighs, making its way into the earth like roots, like tree roots. Anchoring you to this substantial earth plane. Now, this nectar, the liquid nectar, gives us, of course, fluidity, gives us the ability to flow, to change. It also nurtures us like food. So the water element is taste. We're tasting that which nurtures us, not just like eating food because it's there because you're hungry, but eating divine food, eating experience, the experience of the divine, the sweetness of life, the sweetness of stillness, the sweetness of your own heart. What does earth give us? Of course, stability. It gives us a place to land. It gives us the ability to ground. And once we're grounded, we can experience all of these other senses without fear, with focus, with joy. Earth also gives us the stability to allow our hearts to open, to allow ourselves to be vulnerable, and to allow ourselves to love through devotion. Until we feel stable, it's going to be very difficult to give what is most precious to us, our heart, our time, our stuff. It's going to be hard to do that. Once we're stable, and what else Earth gives us is it tells us when we're grounded, you already have enough, and you always will have enough. So you may give everything else. And that way we can then experience devotion without hesitation, without reserve. Just give everything to what you love, giving everything to all beings everywhere, without exception. Now, if you hear that and you go, oh no, not to all beings everywhere without exception, well, maybe. Once we find the inner light, there's no being that is not us. And we are all beings. Until that, we use the senses, the touch, to open the heart, the light to see, the water to taste, the sweetness of experience, and the earth to ground and to allow our vulnerability to come through. Step by step, you may notice already, you may know this from before, what element is the strongest in you. And when I say strongest, it could be the one that is most difficult for you or the one that seems the most fluid, the most easy for you. And perhaps the intention that you're going to write on your piece of paper, and if you came late, I'll explain it later. Perhaps the intention that you wrote has something to do with that element, has something to do with being grounded, has something to do with allowing touch to inform you, being able to see clearly without judgment, allowing vulnerability to come forth, allowing yourself to be devoted to the thing you always wanted to be devoted to. So as we continue to move through and experience the elements, you'll see perhaps one of these elements is going to inform you of your intention for this dark night. Now, the dark night, what does it give us? It gives us a chance to go in and find our inner light. So we're going to chant the mantra. And if you need to move around, go ahead. This might be already a long time sitting for you. The mantra we're going to chant to open is Asatoma Sat Gamaya, Tamasoma Jyotir Gamaya, Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Got it? Okay. Asat is non-truth. It's the things that are not true. Asatoma Sat are the things that are true. Lead me from untruth to truth. So I'm going to tell it to you in English. So if you don't want to chant in Sanskrit, it's complicated. You can just hold that intention in the language that you know. Lead me from untruth to truth. Tama refers to darkness, and not the darkness of the longest night. It's the darkness of ignorance, when we can't see, we just don't understand, we can't see, or we're not willing to see, or we are just not even realizing we're not seeing. Tamas, that's dark, that kind of darkness. Tamasoma, Jyotir, word of the night. Jyotir is light, is a light of awareness, a light of discernment. Jyotir Gamaya. So lead me from the darkness of ignorance to the light of wisdom. Mrityorma. Mrit is death. Lead me from death. Amritam Gamaya. Amrit is that nectar that we visualize coming down from the third eye center. Amrit is the nectar that allows us to not fear death. It is the nectar of knowing no death, knowing that we are immortal. This body may not be immortal, but we are immortal. So lead me from the fear of death to the knowledge of immortality. Asatoma Satgamaya, lead me from untruth to truth, lead me from darkness to light, and lead me from fear of death to the knowledge of immortality. By the way, this is my first time playing this on the harmonium, so if I mess up, then just keep going. Hold on, we're getting there. Okay, we'll start with an Om. Let's do it 2 more times. So I'm going to chant the line and you'll chant it after me. Sagamaya. Sagamaya. Tamasoma. Jyotir Gamaya. Tamasoma. Jyotir Gamaya. Mrityorma. Amritam Gamaya. Mrityorma. Amritam Gamaya. Asatoma Sadgamaya. Sadgamaya. Tamasama. Jyotirgamaya. Tamasama. Jyotirgamaya. Vidyarma. Amritangamaya. Vidyarma. Amritangamaya. Okay, let's try it together. Satchama Sadgamaya. Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya. Vidyarma. Amritangamaya. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. And since taste is a part of our journey with the senses, I want you to taste those words. What would it mean for you to be released from non-truth? What would it mean for you to be bathed in the light of awareness? And what would it mean for you to not fear death and know your immortality? And just try to feel that feeling air element. Let yourself feel it, not think it. Thinking too much is the obstructed fire element. Let yourself feel it instead. Let your tongue be very soft so you can taste the sweetness of that possibility of everything that I just said. Okay, let's now open our eyes and we're going to stretch out our legs and we are going to start to get moving. So go ahead and stretch out your legs and you're going to come onto your hands and knees. Once you're on your hands and knees, spread your fingers wide. Press the tops of your feet down into the ground. And exhale, round your back up to the ceiling, drop your head. And then inhale, drop your belly, look forward, tailbone up. Exhale, round. And inhale, come forward. So continuing through cat and dog tilts. Looks like everybody is familiar with them. So I'm not going to talk about alignment at all tonight because I really want you to just try to feel the ground beneath your fingertips, the ground beneath your knees and your feet. And try to feel the air shifting as you shift your body. You're pushing into space. We didn't talk about space, but you're experiencing the space, activation of the space element now because it's sound. So if you, as you hear the sound of the music, know that your space element is getting like a nice sweet boost. And so you're moving through space, you're pressing through the air, you're held by the ground, your spine is fluid like water. You're listening to music. And of course, you're smelling whatever you're smelling, hopefully something good. I think it smells pretty good in here. In yoga practice, there's something called Eka Rasa. Rasa refers to taste. Eka means one, that everything is one taste and not in a bland way, like you're eating the same food over and over again, but you're tasting the sweetness of being one with everything, not being separate, not being held out, not being discarded, abandoned, not being better than or worse than. Everything has the sweet taste of the divine. Okay, from here, please push into either child's pose or downward facing dog. And once you're in downward facing dog, you always have the choice to move through vinyasa, or you always have the choice to not. Okay, so you're going to make the level practice as you want, whether it's a little bit more rigorous or it's a little bit more restful. And how will you know what to do? Feel into your body. Notice what your body is experiencing and go with that. Okay, let's come on to hands and knees again. We're going to take our blocks under our hands. You should have blocks either at the front or the back of your mat. And we're going to step the right foot forward. Now, place that foot reverently on the ground and spread your toes, even if you're wearing socks. And feel the texture of the mat underneath your foot. One thing we can start to develop is feeling reverence for every movement we make, because we're never going to make a movement like this again. Sink the hips down, stretch the left hip. You can stay here, you can take your hands onto your knees, you can take your hands overhead, or you can place your hands right at the heart center, and here is, no pun intended, the heart of the light of awareness resides here. So maybe touching it with your own hands helps you to recognize the light. All right, so we go from the very dense, the gross, the big movements, the actual touching, to the subtle. When you touch your heart, what do you feel? Inwardly. Okay, let's take the hands down. If they're up, turn your back toes under and lift the knee off the ground. Pop your left foot out to the side and spin your heel down to the ground. Your front knee is going to stay bent, and you're going to come into warrior one. So if you're feeling it all wobbly, maybe darker than you're used to practicing in, take your feet wider apart and maybe even closer together. So make sure your heels are not on line, so you have that extra balance. Sink the hips down and feel into this front quadricep. You should feel it working. Now, this work of the muscles is called tapasya, effort, heat. What is heat? Fire element. What does fire element give us? The light of awareness, the light of discernment. Shows us a light in the heart. So don't be shy about bending that front knee and feeling the effort in the front thigh. If you want, hands come to the heart. And if it makes sense to you, pull the work that you're feeling in your front thigh, that effort. Everybody feeling something yet? Mm-hmm. All right. Pull that up into your heart. Pull it up into your heart. Like if you cut down a tree and it dried up, would you light that fire to keep you warm out in the yard? No, you pull it into your fireplace, right? If you have one. So gather that wood that's in the thigh, gather the potential energy for warmth, for healing, and for light. Pull it up into your heart. Pull that fuel up. In doing that, we liberate the suffering of the thigh. When energy is observed long enough with awareness, it becomes neutral energy, and then it arises into spiritual energy. So take that hard effort, pull it up, pull it up, pull it up into the heart, and then let's take it out. You can straighten your leg also, by the way. It's not about suffering. And let that heart you're generating, that light that you're generating with your thigh, pull into the heart and out through your fingers. Okay, go ahead and open now to warrior two. And then take the hands down, take the knee down, left knee down. Step that right leg back. Your choice, child's pose, cat and dog tilt, or downward facing dog. Remember the activation, how much action you want to have is all up to you, nobody else. And think of it this way, because oftentimes we practice because we think we need to, You are right now practicing for all the beings who cannot practice right now. And it may seem like a little thing, well, oh, so what if somebody can't do warrior one? But the more we find the light within ourselves, the more we open the door, the pathway for others to find their light. We know this kind of group, this cohesive way of like when one person does one thing, other people do it. We know that, except we usually think of it in the negative way, right? Somebody starts using a word wrong, everybody starts using that word wrong, right? Or we have these like TikTok challenges. Oh, everybody's doing it. It went viral. What if what went viral is our inner, it's finding our inner light? What would happen then? All right, we're going to take the left foot forward, reverently place it between your hands. Feel the foot making contact with the ground. Sink your hips down. You are the first and last person to put your foot down in the spot you just chose right now. Under these conditions, in your mat, with your whatever color toenail polish you have, this movement is never going to be recreated. So give attention to it, because no, it's not going to be there for anybody else. It's your job now to record this, to feel it, to experience it, and to appreciate it. Okay, hands up or on your knees or at your heart center. Let yourself feel, melt into it. You're doing, whatever you're doing right now is absolutely perfect. Don't worry about, am I doing it right? Am I doing it wrong? Can I do it better? Let all that go and just with great respect and reverence, feel what it is you're doing. Taste it. Feel as it stimulates all of the senses. This note that's being played that will never be played in exactly the same way, the sensations you're feeling, the smells you're taking in, the light or the vision that you're seeing in front of you if your eyes are open. Okay, let's place the hands down. Turn your toes under, lift your knee up, spin your heel down, look back and make sure your heels are not crossed before you come up. Arms can come to the heart if you want, and come to your hips. You know what we're doing here. Feel the effort in the quadriceps. You've got 4 of those muscles right now working to hold you upright, to stabilize you. The quadriceps are really quite a muscle of movement. It moves us forward. It also pulls us back. It keeps us steady. They do a lot. And now let them just generate light. So they're not accomplishing anything external. It's all internal now. Feel the heat, pull it up to your heart. I said that the heart is the recycling center. It's where we put all of the garbage we don't know what to deal with, we don't want to deal with. And when we put it there, it turns into light. Brilliant light if we let it. And then take that light, take that heat, feel the discomfort of your quadriceps transforming into spiritual light, into something that you can offer to others. In the darkness of your torso, the light rises, and then send it out. And you could, if you want, to send it to somebody specific, but remember, we're practicing for all beings everywhere without exception. And if you think of those words, it's a little bit of a relief, isn't it? We don't have to exclude anybody. And if we don't exclude anybody, guess what? We're not excluded either. Okay, let's take the hands down, take the knee down, step back. Remember your choices: downward facing dog, child's pose, vinyasa. Check in with your tongue. Is it still soft enough that you can taste the divinity of this moment, which will never be the same, will never be repeated. So why criticize it? How can it be wrong? Okay, from downward facing dog or any way you want to, you're going to walk to the front of your mat and fold over your legs. You're welcome to use your blocks as support. And feel gravity pulling your head down. We associate gravity with earth, right? At least I do. Let yourself feel the pull of the earth. And what is the earth? Again, it's the devotion, the ability to be devoted. Also to care, stewardship is associated with the earth. We are to care for the earth so that we can care for that vehicle of grounding, so we can care, we can express our love, our devotion. So let gravity pull you and pull you and pull you. And it's going to do it anyway, so you might as well just surrender to it and let it stretch out your spine and give you a little bit more space in your neck. Feel your palate dropping away. Might want to make a little circle with your chin. And then soften your knees, roll on up to stand. Draw the hands to your heart. Keep the blocks alongside your feet. We're going to do, so you have a choice to do either a 1/4 sun salute or a half sun salute, or if you really want to do a full sun salute, you can. So I'm just going to show you the quarter and then the half like that. So the quarter is you inhale up, you're going to come down like this, and then you come up halfway, and then you fold again, and then you inhale, come up, and exhale, come down. So your feet stay in essentially the same place. A half sun salute, up and down, and then you step back, and then you step back, downward facing dog, and then you step forward, and then you step forward, and then you come up. Okay? And you can change it around because we're going to do a few of these. The first one is going to be devoted to the earth element. So bend your knees a little bit, let your feet spread out like they are melting, like a raindrop falling into hard, dry, parched earth. We had a chance to experience that a few, like last month when we were in the drought, right? You dropped water into that earth, where would it go? Disappear. Right down into that thirsty earth. Feel that happening with your feet. Let your tailbone drop. Let all of your concerns drop. Feel your feet rooted down like tender young roots from a new seedling. Delicate but persistent, seeking a ground to hold on to, and knowing that the longer it gets, the more nutrition, nutrients, and nurturing it's going to receive. So go a little bit deeper with your roots. Feel them perhaps coming all the way from the heart, with the heart root down into the earth. And perhaps there's a sense of relief. Oh, I don't have to hold this all. You don't. Let it drop down. Now, the mantra for earth is Lam. The seed sound for the earth element is Lam. So if you'd like to chant that to yourself as you move, you can. You can inhale Lam and exhale Lam, or just continue to listen to the music. We're going to inhale. We're going to start the same. Inhale up. As you move up, feel your feet rooting down. Exhale, come forward and down. If you're stepping back, go ahead and step back. If you're not, rise up halfway. Feel your feet still rooting. Exhale, full. And then inhale, come on up. If you're doing the half sun salute, maybe you're finished with both sides. And then as the hands land at the heart, feel your feet once again, rooting, melting. If you're doing a full sun salute, don't rush, we'll wait for you. We are just rocks, mountains. We got nowhere to go. Okay, our next element we're going to travel up is water. So the chakra for that is right above the pubic bone. The mantra is Vam, Vam, Vam. So you can chant that to yourself if you want. Now feel the edges of your body just kind of like liquid. And maybe even you're inspired to sway a little bit to the sounds of the music. Feel like there's a difference between the body, the skin, and the air around you. That like you're dissolving into the water, or like you're swimming or floating. But like a fish is in water and doesn't know it's in water, I want you to feel you're in water. Feel it, whether it needs to be cool for you right now or warm, and tongue soft so you can taste it. What if the water had a taste? Sweet, nurturing, sweetness of mother's milk is amrit, what we chanted to before. So we move very fluidly. Inhale, feel the arms cascading up. And then exhale, dive in, dive down into that pool. Let your fingers spread. It's okay to bend your knees, let your feet spread. If you're stepping back, go ahead. If not, you're rising up like you're floating up, like you're on a wave that's lifting you up halfway. And then the wave recedes and you fall into it again. And then we'll come up. If you're finishing up your full sun salute, take your time. When your hands touch your heart, feel like you are the raindrop that meets the ocean. There's no distinction between you and that raindrop. I'm sorry, than the ocean. You spread forever, ever and ever. Every molecule of your being is part of something bigger. There's no way of separating that raindrop now. Just feel that connection as your breath continues to flow through you like a river, as the music continues to bathe you in its sound. Then we move up to the third chakra. The mantra there is Ram, Ram. The element is fire. In the very center of your body is what we call the Sushumna, or the central channel. It starts from the center of the earth and moves up, piercing through the pelvic floor, piercing behind the roots of the navel, the roots of the heart center, right through the center of the throat, the soft palate, third eye center, midbrain, and then up and out through the crown of the head. This central channel is composed of light. Not hot light, not fire, but the light of awareness. The light that people see when they leave this earth, and the light that you saw when you came into this earth. A tunnel of light. Lightening up, awakening everything in you, awakening up your capacity for wisdom, your capacity for compassion, which is another element of fire, your capacity for discernment and right action. And maybe that makes you feel powerful. Feel the power in that. You know what to do. You know what to do, and you will do it correctly. And you will do it with compassion, and you will do it for the benefit of all beings. Feel that warming the center of your body, activating it, and activating the third eye center that sees all. And try to keep your awareness, your inner sight on that central channel as we move, because it's going to move with you. Inhale, reach up. Feel it, inhale, making the light brighter. Exhale, come forward and down. Inhale, rise up halfway. That central channel is parallel to the ground. And exhale and fold. And then inhale, come up. Let your fingers stay overhead for a moment or two, because that central channel does not start and end at our body. It moves from the center of the earth to the center of the universe. So feel with that light, that central channel, you are much bigger than this body. And then when you've tasted that, hands come to the heart. settle into that knowing. Okay, then we move into air. And air is touch. So feel your fingers touching each other, the fingertips touching each other, the heels of the hands touching each other, thumbs touching the heart, feet touching the ground, your clothes touching your body, your hair touching your scalp, the breath touching the rim of your nostrils, the inside of your lungs, and every single channel in your body, every capillary and every noddy, which is much like the capillary system, except some subtle anatomy. You can't take a picture of it, you can't cut it, can't see it, but that is what runs that prana through you. Prana being the force that animates you. Feel this flow of prana through every single channel, vessel in your body. And every time you breathe in, it flows with a little bit more intention. And every time you breathe out, the same. And feel the light from the central channel just moving all throughout your body. Feel the space around you caressing your cheeks, your forehead, backs of your hands, wherever skin meets space. We say this breath is the touch of the divine. So whatever is divine to you, whatever you consider to be higher than your mind, is now touching you. And then continue to touch you as you inhale, reach up. Feel the muscles working, the skin stretching, and the clothes shifting on your skin. Feel the breath, take another breath in, feel it move through your body, all the capillaries, all the nadis. And then exhale. The mantra here is Yam, if you would like to chant it. Feeling your fingers on your toes or the ground or the stretch in the back of your legs or your spine. Inhale, come up halfway. Take a breath in, feel that, and exhale and sink. Stepping back if you're doing the fuller vinyasa, or coming up. And as you take your hands through space, feel all of the stuff you are touching as you move your arms, as your fingertips pierce the center of the universe. And then at some point, your hands are going to come back to your heart and feel that that element has come home to Anahata Chakra. Okay, our next element is space. I'd like you to bring your attention to your throat. That's the chakra that is a space element. And soften it and feel the vibration of every note that you're hearing resonating in your throat. Keep the tongue soft once again and feel those notes in the throat. Now I want you to think about your distance from the source of the sound. That is space, where you are compared to where the sound is coming from. You're touching the sound, you're tasting the sound, you're digesting the sound, but you're not near the sound. That's how we can travel. That's how we can give light to all beings. We can travel through space like that. The medium that sound is coming to you is space. Let your ears take it in without exception, taking in the sound of stillness as well, because there's a sound there too, isn't there? It's said that the gurus, the light of your inner wisdom, reside in your throat. So feel the throat open, feel the tongue soft, and then moving through space. The mantra here is hum, or just continue to listen to the music. Take the arms up, and feel as you take your arms up, your whole being expands to fill the space between you and the source of the sound. And then exhale, moving through space. Come forward and down. Light as a feather. Making your way back if you're stepping back, coming up halfway if you're doing that. And then when you're ready, coming up and again, moving through space, deliberately, mindfully, joyfully, feeling space carrying you up. Feel the lightness of the physical body when you encounter space. Just let all attention go. You don't have to hold yourself here either, and gravity is not a factor. Then the hands at some point will come back to the heart. And then let's separate the hands, take the palms out, and feel your light now moving through space, through the medium of space. There's nothing that can hinder that movement when you're moving through space. Heel the right heel off the ground, turn the knee out to the side. If your balance is not good today, especially in a darker room, step your foot out to the side. If your balance is feeling somewhat grounded, take your foot up for Vrikshasana. Now, if you're the kind of person who usually frets about their balance, instead of that, how are you projecting the light? Are you still sharing it? Let's be more concerned about that than how good we look at tree. I'm a good tree. A beautiful tree. And what makes trees beautiful? All the stuff that they give us, right? Shade, fruit, flowers, stability. Let's take the hands down, take the foot down. Let the hands just be alongside the body and feel your fingertips being pulled down to the earth. Your feet being pulled down into the earth. Remember your roots. You can grow roots from your fingers too, like banyan trees grow those limbs down and they tap down into the earth as well. They can give you a whole house. Simultaneously lift up through the crown of the head and feel your body dissolving in the medium around you, in that space that the sound is coming through. Then eyes open if they're closed, shift over to the right foot, turn your toes out. Now we're going to take a different mudra. You can have your hands to your heart if you want. You can take the heels of the hands together, the little fingers and the thumbs touch, and the other fingers flare away. And then you can take that up as high as you want, maybe right over the crown of the head. And if you're feeling like you need some of that light at any time, take it in this way. And when do we need the light? Only when we forget we are the light. That's when we need the light, when we forget we are the light. And guess what? We do that a lot. We are such good forgetters. We are really great at that, right? Anybody remember that? If I ask you tomorrow, what are you really good at? You're going to go, I forgot. We're such good forgetters. So when we forget, we need the light. Yes. And that's okay, because there's always going to be somebody who remembers they are the light and they're projecting that out. So take what you need. Don't be shy. And then if you feel, I remember, go ahead and project it out. So that any airplane flying over, any drone that happens to be flying over is going to go, what is that light coming from Frenchtown? Whoa, so bright. Project it out. We can do this. We can be the light that we desire. We can be the light that we recognize the world needs right now, the universe needs, the earth needs. Take your hands to your heart, come back to the place of remembering and forgetting. And then let the foot come down, drop your fingers, feel the fingertips moving down, the heels moving down, the head moving up. Now this forgetting, as annoying as it might be, is really a beautiful love story. We forget who we are, so that when we remember, we can reunite with ourselves, with our light. Two lovers who have been separate for however long, all the joy and bliss that comes from that encounter. That's why we forget, so we can experience that over and over again. So don't be frustrated with yourself for forgetting. You're just writing a love story. Let's draw the hands to the heart. Now this is when they come together, the lovers unite. All of your dualities come back together and sit at the heart. That's what this mudra represents. Okay, let's take the arms up. Exhale, bring the hands down. And let's step back and come to lay down on your belly, right down on your stomach. Make a pillow with your hands, turn your cheek to one side, use your blanket for patting your pelvis if you like. And just let yourself rest. Feel the ground pulling you into its embrace. When you're ready, you're going to come into Cobra. So set your hands up for Cobra and pubic bone down, tailbone down. So your Muladhara chakra is grounded, your water chakra, your Swadhisthana chakra is grounded, your navel center is grounded, and then you come up, lift the heart center up. Now, I just learned this yesterday, that snakes smell by putting their head on the ground. And they can smell their prey like that. And then when they rise up, they can no longer smell their prey. So they're very vulnerable when they rise up, because they can no longer see if something's out to get them or the things that they were trying to get. They can no longer see it. So it's kind of a stab in the dark. I mean, they can see, but they can't smell it. So lift up, let yourself be vulnerable in that way. Rise up and trust. This is a big part of air element I didn't mention before, is trust, is allowing yourself to trust. Trust that you're going to be okay in this Cobra, and that even though the senses might be closed off. So if your eyes are open, see if you can close them, draw your awareness to the third eye center and see with that eye rather than the two eyes as you lift up without being able to smell. Okay, go ahead and lower down. Roll over onto your back. So just flip over. Hug your knees into your chest. Now feel the back of the head on the ground. Feel your sacrum on the ground. Touch your feet down to the ground and lift your right leg up. Stretch that leg, flexing the foot. Feel the sensations here. The stretch and the contraction are both bringing heat, bringing light. You know what to do with that. Bring it up to the heart center. This is how we use the physical body for awakening. We take whatever we experience in the physical body, all the joys and all the suffering, we take all of that and we feed the energy of it into the heart. The heart recycles it into light. Pull that leg in a little bit more if you like. If you want a little bit more tapasya, you want to burn some stuff, bring your chin up towards your shin. And it's not a forest fire, by the way. Just think about a candle. Don't go crazy. Because one of the things we do is we want to do it all right away, and we create a forest fire. We just want a nice little campfire. Okay, put your head down if it's up, cross your ankle over for a reclined pigeon pose. Keep your left foot on the ground if you want, or hug your knees into your chest. All right, so if you want to be a little bit more restful, or if you're already feeling a lot with your foot on the ground, then stay there. If you want to pull your knees into your chest, you can do that. You know, we have when we do hip work, it can be a little destabilizing. It can be a little ungrounding. It's almost like, okay, we found ground, our hips are tight, we're settled in. And then what do? We start doing yoga and we start mixing things around. And our tamasic, remember that word tamasoma, the tamasic part of us, the part that wants to stay ignorant, does not like that. And so we say to the teacher, open your own hips, leave mine alone. I like my hips the way they are. So if you start to feel a sensation, no, yes, you are changing something. You're changing not just the muscle shape of your hips, but you're changing something pretty dynamic and important. You're changing your, well, after you burn the candle, you'll see that wax when it mixes with the sand. That's your hips, baby, right there. So we're going to move that around a little bit right now, and let whatever comes up when you're doing hip work, let it come up. Okay, let's take the feet down and we'll change sides. So take the other leg up to stretch the back of the leg. Push the heel up, pull the toes back. Let yourself feel the stretch in your hamstrings, your calf muscle. And if you'd like, sit up part way, bringing your chin to your shin-ish. And then let your abdominals also create a little bit of fire. Not too much. We're not looking for inflammation. We're not looking to stretch too much. We're not looking to overwork. We're looking to just get enough fire to start the process of awareness, of seeing. You know, we're turning on a light. We're not turning on the searchlights. If you remember pilot lights from old-fashioned gas stoves, that light, that little flame did so much, didn't it? It transformed all of your food. You don't want a blowtorch in your kitchen, right? So we just want a pilot light now. That's what we need for the transformation. Go ahead and come on down. If you're still up, cross your ankle over, and then you'll come into the pigeon pose. And it is a long, hard journey, which is why we're all still here doing it, to know the difference between doing too much and doing too little. That's why they call it practice. We're continuously practicing it to see, was that too much? Was that too little? Not to make ourselves crazy, but to taste the difference. And if we think about whether it's too much or too little, too much, that's like making soup. You're not sure if you put too much salt in it and just not tasting it and throwing it away. That wasn't good. It might have been the best thing you ever made. We need to taste it to make sure we put the right amount of effort in. So taste this effort right now. You know you're doing right effort if you can take the sensation or the effort of it and bring it to your heart and transform it to light. That's when you know you're doing the right thing. That's the right amount, I should say. When you can bring that sensation and that action into the light and into the heart and recycle it into light, you are right on. Okay, touch the feet down. Arms alongside your body. Push your lower back into the ground. Lift your hips up into bridge pose. Lift that chest up. You're lifting right now. You are in a semi-inversion. So you're taking all of the energy of the earth element chakra at the pelvic floor. You're mixing it with water in the second chakra. You're taking that water earth mixture and you're dropping it into fire. And you're taking that fire and you're moving it into air. What happens when fire and air, what happens when fire mixed with water and it's heated? We have vapor, right? So now that's in your heart center, the air, and then the vapor dissipates into space. This is a very alchemical action that's happening here. It's not just bridge pose. You're transforming the physicality of your being into the ethereal space where everything is possible. All right, come on down, hug your knees into your chest. Now, if there's another pose that you would like to do, we're going to head to Shavasana pretty shortly. If there's another pose you would like to do, you can take it now. If it's a twist, then, just make sure your neighbor knows you're coming down, coming over to visit. Um, maybe it's reclined cobbler's pose. Maybe you want to go crazy and it's shoulder stand. Maybe you'd like to prop your chest up and have it be fish pose. Yeah, seated twist is fine. Anything you feel your body wants to do now. Trust it too, because you've done all of this work so far, all of this transformation. You can trust when you've done work that doesn't involve the doubting mind, you can trust what the results are. Even if it doesn't work out as the mind wants it to, don't trust the mind. Remember, trust is in the heart and it's the air element. Trust what you can touch, trust what you feel in your body. Trust what cannot be described in words, in gestures, what cannot be researched, and what cannot be debated. And whatever pose you're doing, see if the element that you might have had a thought that was a good element for you to work with, for you to send your intention to, see if it comes to you, right? What element are you feeling most here? Are you feeling earth, grounded, mostly connected with smell, what you're smelling? Are you feeling more attuned to water? So you're feeling very fluid and your tongue is soft and your forehead is soft and you are feeling like you can taste the sweetness of being. Is it fire? You can feel that central channel. You have a sense of it. You can notice the light burning in the third eye center, lighting your way towards right action. You feel compassionate. You feel liberated from something you might have been attached to, like that headstand you wanted to do tonight. Is it air? You're feeling what's happening in your body as if it is the stroke of the divine, rather than, oh, I hate this pose. I don't like this with how this feels. I can't do this right. Any of that stuff. Are you feeling it? Anything that you're doing right now, can you just feel it without judgment? And is it space, perhaps? You're able to hear and live, embody the sound of the music or the sound of your heartbeat. If you're ready to move into Shavasana, go ahead. Set yourself up with a bolster under your knees, a blanket over your body if you want. If you have an eye bag, put your eye bag on. Once you are on the ground, feel the weight of your body dropping. and feel that similar to those roots moving down through our feet, but now feel it through your whole body. The whole back of your body is rooted down. You're growing roots to the back of the head, the backs of the hands, the arms, the hips, wherever the legs touch. Feeling yourself extend down deeply into the earth. Now imagine that you are this earth and a cool rain of nectar comes down from the moon and is sprinkling onto your body, the earth. So you are earth and the rain comes down and starts to cool and moisten and nurture. This is the Amrit. This is the nectar of knowing no death or fear. And let that Amrit rain down and soak it in. Let your body take it in. Let your earth, you as earth, take in that nectar. And now imagine fire comes and burns everything away. And everything turns to dust. So all that you thought was stable, secure, firmly fixed, decided, written, determined, all of that just gets burnt away. And then a wind comes and blows it all away, blows that dust up into space. And what you thought was solid, fixed, immovable is now part of space. And all parts of your being just float out into every direction. You're in space with no boundaries, no limitations. You're as big as the universe. Just feel yourself getting bigger and bigger until there's no you to get bigger anymore. You're just part of all of it. And whether you see that as dark or light, up to you. Have you merged with the light of awareness or the darkness of the universe? And not darkness because there's anything scary or because, you know, it's tamasic, but dark because there's no differentiation. There's no possible way that you can see yourself different from anything else. Now just feel the stillness, utter total stillness of Ekarasa. Stillness of the darkness. Listen to the sound of divinity, the divinity that lives inside of you, the divinity that you are. Listen for that sound. It may sound like your heartbeat. It may sound like your breath. It may sound like the nadam, or the humming of the universe, the eternal Om. And now making as few movements as possible. Make your way up to sit. So go slowly, mindfully. Remember, there's never another time that you're going to do these movements. So be very mindful of how you do it, how you come up. Feel your body moving. Feel what it takes to come upright. And then feel yourself settling into a comfortable seat. And then sitting upright with your eyes closed for a moment or two, and see if an intention did not come from to you before, if one comes to you now. Something that you might write on your paper and put in your candle. If it's related to an element. And hold that intention. And if one didn't come to you now, it's okay. You still have time. It's a long night. Maybe you leave it for tomorrow or the next day. But remember this, you will forget. And you are simply writing a love story. And remember this too, when you forget, receive the light. When you remember, offer the light. Anytime tonight or anytime at all during your life that you have stumbled upon the light and you've seen it in others or in yourself, no, it's the same, and you've witnessed something, you've known something, you probably remember that time or times when you just knew this is it. That you will always remember. And you can feed off of that a long time. But don't be complacent. Don't stay there. Continue to look for more and more opportunities to bathe in the light, to be reminded of the light that you carry inside of yourself. Because every time you remember it, you can offer it. And when you forget it, remember to receive it. I'm going to chant a mantra, closing mantra. The words are Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. And it means Loka, like yoga, Loka. The place, may all beings in every place, every realm of existence be happy and free. And may that extend to myself and to all beings everywhere without exception. Because until we can say that, until we can be that, we will always be separate. Samasta Sukhi Samasta Sukhi Shanti Shanti Shanti. And then let's take our hands to our heart, to that great recycling center, to the place where our guidance always resides. When we allow ourselves to be a little vulnerable, we're open, we're ready to dive in. So we honor this place that we carry around with us pretty much everywhere. When we remember, we can sink in. When we don't, no, even if you don't remember, you've still surrounded yourself with people who are going to remind you about that. So listen to them. They have something important to say. And that can count for whether they're saying something amazing to you or something horrible to you. If your heart is broken, there's good reason. Because it's reminding you of this place. It's broken wide open for you to see this light. If your heart is full, there's good reason. You've remembered that light. The light that's inside of you is called the Sat Guru. So we honor the Sat Guru, the true teacher. You hear that word again, Sat, from Asatoma, Sat Gamaya. Sat Gurunath Maharaja Ki. And then you can take your hands to your third eye center if you like. This next part that we say invokes all of the circumstances of life that are displayed to us that allow us to remember our light. And we call that Jagadambe, or the mother of the universe. Jagadambe Mata Ki Jai. Jai Ma. And then Om Shanti. Shanti is peace. So you say Om Shanti. Shanti. Okay. Thank you, everybody. I'm going to put the lights up a little bit. Take your time getting up. There's water in the back if you'd like. And remember to pick up your candle. And if you weren't here, I'll give you a quick tutorial on what you're going to do with your candle. Speaking of candles are still 10% off today if you want to buy one. So our solstice sale is still going until midnight. And if you have a mat underneath you that was not yours, if you can just roll it up and put it into the corner, that would be great. And thank you, Denise, for reminding us of how beautiful space is. And I will download this recording, and it'll be in your account that you signed up. If you signed up online, which I think all of you did, well, almost all of you, you can go to your account, and it'll be someplace. Probably, what is it called when you look for? It's called content, something like that. You'll find it, or it'll find you. Bye, everybody in TV land.